Welcome everybody. This is Workshop Studios and I'm Handyman Hank. And today's project is the trunk latch on our Lexus ES 350. This is a 2010. Let me show you what the problem is. It doesn't close. So we got to take a look at that and see if we can fix it so that it will close again. Trunk latches have two things. They have this up top here. I'm looking at the trunk lid here. So we have this part up here, and it has a little thing that pushes in there like that. Can you see what I'm doing there with the screwdriver? See how that little arm reaches around like that? Well, the screwdriver part is down here, just like that. And so it's pretty simple in many ways. And when you close it, that pushes down on that little bar down there, and that's supposed to latch, and it's not. So something in here is not letting it close like that. All right, the first thing we need to do is get this little cover off of here so we can see the mechanism inside. Now, I'm not bothering to take this whole cover off of here, this whole part, because I can get to most of it. So let's see if I can do this. There's another helpful video out there that showed how to get in there and take this out. See if I can do the same thing. All right, well, didn't need to be that difficult. So I'm reaching up in here, so I'm here on the latch, back here, and I'm kind of pushing down on it, and out it comes. And back up a little, and then this just kind of slides off of here. There we go. So what you're trying to do is get to that thing right there in the back of it. That hooks onto a little latch up there. I don't know if you can see it, but so anyhow, this one needs to go back, and then it'll pop right off. Okay, enough of that. I think this would be easier to work on the bench, so I think I'll take it out of there. It looks like it's just two screws, or right there and there. And then you take the cables off there and there. And there's an electrical cable there. So let me see what I can do about that. All right, that's better. So just to get you oriented, this is the one that's up against the trunk, and this is the part that hits that little bar and closes. And I'm going to turn it over, and this is the part we've been sort of looking at, trying to see from where we were. So let me see if I can walk you through this mechanism. I'm going to turn it around this way. It's a little easier for me to see then. And I'm going to come in a little closer. Okay, so here is where the trunk would come down against that little bar down there. This is going to now rotate, so I'm going to push down, simulate it being closed, and voila, it closes. And then to open it, if you're using the key or the electronics at all, this is a little spinner in here, and that pushes this arm out. I'll show you in a second, but that pushes this arm out, and watch what happens. And voila. So now let's do it again. This comes down, and it locks, and this opens up. Okay, so if I was doing it more mechanically, I guess I could call it that, without using the spinner, then it's this arm that opens up and just lets this by. So watch. Right? Okay, so this one slides down and locks against that surface. So let's do that again. There we go. There it is, locked against the surface. I push this out, and voila, it works. Well, so why it's working now, and it didn't work before, I don't know, but I think maybe you couldn't see it, but there's a couple of things attached here, cables attached, that are either for mechanically opening from the inside, like that, or there's a cable that's hooked onto another item. I have to verify what that is, but that also will open it as well. So you have two cables that will pull down on this lever. One is a mechanical one that's inside the trunk, and I'll show you that. The other one, I'll verify what that is, but I think that has something to do with opening it with the key. So let's see if we can't, maybe we'll reinstall it and see if it's working now. And it may be that those cables were just a little too tight, and I'll show you what happens, or if they restrict this coming back. So if I close it like that, or actually, let me do it this way. If I have this retracted back, it may not, see, if this is holding back like this, I push it down and then it just pops up. So if for some reason this is being held back, either there or over here, then it won't let that latch go. So let's reinstall it now that we've had a look at it. And I haven't done a thing yet. Just took it out, and now it seems to be working just fine mechanically. So let's go put it back in. All right, here we go. So I've got it all back in there, and here are those two cables I was telling you about. There's this cable and that cable. This one right here hooks to this mechanical device. Almost all, I think all trunks have to have that. So you can open the trunk from the inside. You pull on this. I'm going to pull on it and you can see what is going to happen here. Oops, let me do that again. So I'm going to pull on this and it pulls the arm back. Okay. Now one thing is that if I pull it out, this thing can get stuck and it holds the arm open. So I need to make sure that that's not the case. I think I checked that before and it was not doing that. So let me get it back up there so it's not stuck. There we go. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and close this. Simulate closing, and there we go. Click. And I'm going to use the mechanical one to open it, and voila. Okay. But I do need to make sure that doesn't get out of there. Okay. Well, let's try it out here and see if it'll work. All right, so here we go. Let's close the trunk and see if it locks. And it locks just fine. Let's see if we can pop it with a key. For some reason that's not working, but let's try it down here. Well, it worked. Okay. Now it's not working again. Wow. So let's see what the problem is. All right, on the off chance that this is sticking in here because it needs a little lubrication, we're going to put some WD-40 in there. I tried doing this before, but I wasn't sure if I was getting all the right spots, so. We'll get it all lubed up. Okay, let's try that one more time. All right, so let's just make sure it clicks up here. Yep, good. And then we mechanically release it. That feels good. Okay, let's try closing it too. Hang on here. All right, one more time here. Let's see if that'll work now. Okay, it latches once. Let's open it up, and hopefully it latches again. And it doesn't. So something's wrong there. It's not just... All right, well, this is probably going to be difficult to see, so my apologies. But after lots and lots of playing with it, this arm with this spring on it gets thrown over like this. And this little lever right there comes over. See if I can do this with my finger. Comes over like that and releases the latch. So let me go ahead and do it with the electrical. It doesn't do it mechanically. I mean, it doesn't get stuck, and I'll show you why. All right, so I'm gonna click it. Okay, there we go, and that was all good. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to push the button that's up here, right there, and what that does is actuates this little motor, I guess you call it, and it throws that over, and I'll show you what happens. All right, and you think, oh, okay, well, that's all good. But here is the problem. So, right here, that arm, this is the motor, and that's the arm of the motor, came around and pushed this up and released it. So the trunk will open, but now it's stuck. And so this little arm has gone too far, And this arm needs to come up to let it come back. And watch what I push. When I push it up, see that little thing has come back now. There we go. And so the problem is this arm is going too far, and it's falling in behind that little arm that comes around and trapping it there. So we have to, what I'm going to try to do is put a stop on this right here. I'm going to drill a hole, put a screw through it, and it'll stop this lever from coming too far. Let's try that out. That's it. So there's the screw I just put in. And because it's, let's see if I can get down there so you can see what I'm doing. There's the screw poking through. And because I've made it fairly long, I can adjust where it stops that arm. So as the arm comes over, let me do this, it hits that screw. Do you see that? Get in there a little better here. Hear it hitting that screw? And what that does is limits that so that it doesn't get stuck behind there. So let me show you what that looks like. All right, so I'm going to hit the button up here, and hopefully you can see it all in action. And voila. Oops, looks like it got stuck again. Let's try it. Maybe that's not so bad. Nope, it got stuck again, so I have to run that screw in just a little tighter. All right, so I've put that screw in a little tighter. Let's try it again, see how that looks. And voila. Do you see it return back there? Let's do it one more time. Here we go. Ready, steady. Oops. Lost my picture there. There we go. And voila, it returns. I think we got it. So that long screw sticking in there has stopped it. Now, why did this happen? I suspect because this is a 12-year-old car, that some of these little bearing surfaces in here have moved just enough to allow this thing to go that far. The spring may be a little too weak. Those bearing surfaces have moved a little. So I'd probably be better off just buying a new unit, but what the heck? This is more fun, right? So if you have a latch that's broken on your Lexus, or it isn't working, you can try this little fix. One screw right there after you get that cover off, and that might just do it. But if you're so inclined, go ahead and like and subscribe down below if you like this, and we'll catch you on the next video. Bye!